Welcome to the Front Stretch, race fans, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. Fast-paced, white-knuckle racing just across the river on 23rd Avenue. Get over to Joe's Karting today. Do yourself right with a little indoor kart racing. Now, typically, this is where we would recap the race that happened at Phoenix. But because we are in such high demand, we are so popular, and we have a fantastic sponsor that helped us pay for all the sponsors and pay all the fees so we can have this event going on. We've got so many interviews. It's a long way of saying we'll move the Phoenix interview to turn number 3, and we're going to talk to Scott Angell. But first, let's talk about that great dirt track, or a great interview sponsor.
Yeah, it's time for another Don's Auto Repair interview. Don's Auto Repair is located at 125 East 1st Street in downtown Papillion. You can call them at 402-331-0897. The mechanics at Don's Auto Repair service air conditioning, brakes, check engine lights, exhaust systems, oil changes, timing chains, water pumps, and most types of general repair and service. Let Don's Auto Repair take care of your vehicles. Don's Auto Repair, 125 East 1st Street in beautiful downtown Papillion, 402-331-0897. They are open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5.
Joining us on the show now is a guy that, as I was thinking about this morning, I'm pretty sure he went to the school of Joe Koziski insanity. Been involved in dirt racing for a while with D-Sign Shop and doing announcing and promoting, and then got hooked up with another dude and decided to create a touring series that got rained out for 2 years. And then instead of saying we've lost enough money, we're stepping away, decided to get into concert promoting, and then created a touring series, which thankfully has been successful.
And has spawned another touring series.
And now you're promoting a racetrack.
Never enough, I guess.
That's why I'm saying you've gone to the school of Joe Koziski insanity.
You're not smart enough to say no or something like that. I don't know.
Too nice to say no. Scott Angell joining us on the show of Dirt Crown Promotions, the Summer Crown Stock Car Series, Dawson County Raceway, and D-Sign Shop.
And now we have a Sport Mod Series, too.
And Speedway Motors. Yep. Man of many talents.
And we play baseball 70 sometimes a year, and basketball now, and so yeah, we're always going someplace.
I really don't know how parents do all the sports stuff.
Divide and conquer.
Yeah. I guess that might be the reason why the divorce rate is so high these days.
Very well.
Sitting in a baseball field at 8 o'clock in the morning, a little tasking on the relationship. But let's talk a little bit of racing. Dirt Crown set to kick off the 2024 season, this coming week actually at Beatrice.
Beatrice Speedway. Tommy, I'm sure those guys have done a great job down there reshaping the racetrack. This morning you wake up and you see some of the history of the Spring Nationals with Jay Noteboom and Terry Phillips and Dylan Smith and that spectacular finish. So we're excited to go back there and bring hopefully some of the best stock cars in the country there. And they're going to race for $2,000, but it's going to be a hell of a show on Saturday night.
Knock on wood that the predicted weather shows up.
Correct, yeah. It's something that this early in the year we have to play the Mother Nature game, which Dirt Crown usually loses with. So we're gonna keep our fingers crossed and look for a really good show on Saturday night.
Like I said, the outlook's good.
Yeah.
We were talking with Tommy. This is a little bit confusing. We talked to Tommy day number 1 that we did our interviews with the World of Wheels car show, but we're actually going to play it next. So it's a little bit flip-floppy, but we were talking with Tommy, and this is a great race that I would be hard-pressed to say if the weather turns out, you're going to have less than 50 cars, stock cars.
Stock car-wise, I mean, last year we averaged east-west 45 cars every night. High counts of 72, I think, was our high count. With it being early in the season like this, Beatrice is a great place to hold a good race, and usually a really racing track with not only the locals, but a lot of traveling guys coming in. I look for cars from Minnesota and Iowa and South Dakota, North Dakota, Kansas, Missouri. They'll all show up. So to say 50 cars is probably an understatement.
Yeah. As I'm kind of listening to this and listening to your stats, I kind of talked about at the beginning, boy, the first 2 years you guys were around trying to do stuff was tough.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, we had a great idea to try to run early in the in the spring and have something that would tie in with possibly the Beatrice Spring Nationals and something like that. Mother Nature, COVID, all kind of against us there, and so instead of putting all of our eggs in one basket for one weekend, we decided we'd branch out a little bit and start doing some touring stuff and take some chances, 9 times a year. And then last year was 18 times we got in out of 25, I think it was. And so this year, slated, we have 40 races scheduled between stock cars and sport mods, and then 5 more at Dawson County Raceway.
How gratifying was last year?
It was pretty awesome to go and see, Davenport, Iowa, and have first-time winners there, and to have, Huset's Speedway on board with us, and Belleville, and some of the iconic racetracks that we've always seen. We lose I-80, we had great races there, but it's just awesome to see the growth and to have the guys from Minnesota. Some of the people, I don't want to say were idols because I wasn't a huge stock car guy growing up. I always liked them, always good racing, but some of those guys that you watched in modifieds and stuff like that now are finding a home in stock cars, and it's really cool to see. They kind of respect us now.
Yeah.
It's really cool to say that you are one of the respected promoters now.
Well, you talk about going to Huset's and Belleville. You're going to kind of blow that out of the water this year.
Yeah, we're actually going to go to the big track at Belleville. That's one of the places that we're going to go, but the Knoxville Raceway, that's one of our new tracks this year. It's going to be awesome to be part of that place. And I think it's been like 12 years since stock cars have been there, and we're going to bring the best.
Yeah.
There's been more noise on Facebook about that one race than literally any other race I've seen this winter.
Yeah.
That's, and then back to the kind of my point with that, what you were talking about, like what you and Rob created. There is so much excitement around the stock car class, and I gotta believe that you guys have had you're a huge contributor to that, with not just creating the touring series, but you did it right with great payouts, great contingency prizes, dedication, everything that you guys have suffered for the last 4 or 5 years. It's maybe a little too early to call it, but it's definitely paying off. It
is. One of the cool things, we had our banquet last, January, I guess it was, and we figured up just what we paid out in contingencies last year, and it was over $60,000. $260,000 by the time it was all over, with purses and points fund and contingencies. We couldn't do it without all of our great supporters and sponsors and racers and racetracks. But it is something that's really cool to take to the stock car guys, and hands down, IMCA has done the best job with the rules. It doesn't matter where we go, you have a good field of cars, and we've said that for 10 years, that stock car racing is probably the best racing, no matter if it's Eagle Raceway or the old I-80 Speedway. How many times did you call a good race with stock cars at I-80 Speedway, and it was 3, 4, 5 wide? It's awesome.
I watched a great race. I called a good race.
We're giving you some credit when you said you called a good race.
I'll take it, because I just had flashbacks of Anthony going, it's this name. What you guys have created, absolutely phenomenal. And now you're taking it, and I love that what you're doing with transferring it over into the sport mods.
Yeah, so the sport mods, I don't want to say we're left out, but that's the next really good group of drivers and large car counts. About any place you go in the Midwest, you can find a good group of sport mods, and they've asked for it. They've bugged us. They wanted us to come, and so we decided that we will listen to the racers like we always want to. We want to be there for the racers, so we decided that with the help of Lighting Motorsports and some of our great sponsors, we can put up a pretty cool points fund, put up some $1,000 to win shows. Got some racetracks to jump on board. Again, some new racetracks that we'll see. Going all the way over to Independence, Iowa this year. Worthington, Slayton in Minnesota jumping on board this year for the Sport Mod Tour. So it'll be pretty cool to see, Devin Peterson, Robbie Tom, Brandon Spanger, some of those guys take on the Colby Fetts of the world, and maybe the Matthew Loofs and some of those guys. So.
Well, you got it spread out enough that you had to make 2 divisions. Correct.
Yeah, north-south for the Sport Mods. That's really cool to be able to have the support of racetracks to where you can do that. The stock cars, we still have the old east-west, but Sport Mods will go north-south just because of the way the racetracks lay out. So getting into Kansas, there'll be some really good cars down there, and obviously, when you get into northern Iowa and Minnesota, you'll have some really good race cars over there too.
The trouble with the sport mods, and I give you guys a ton of credit for actually doing this, is because for the longest time, and it's still true today, you create the touring series to generate excitement and to generate people buying that touring series.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to do that with sport mods.
Right.
You go to a racetrack has got a simple formula. If I need to put a little bit of money in the back gate, put a good paying purse together for sport mods, and I'll get 50 of them.
Yep. Yeah, sport mods are a car count, like we said, about any place in the Midwest, you can get 20, 25 of them pretty easily. Northern Nebraska, it may be a little bit of a struggle. Their car counts haven't been great up there, but hopefully we can help with that. But then you get it back over into Iowa and Kansas, it's going to be really good.
Talk to me about the Knoxville race. That could not have been easy to get that on the schedule.
So we, again, great help and surrounding yourself with good people that gets you good things. And so one of those things where we tried multiple different avenues to get into the Knoxville Raceway. It's not going to be an event that everybody gets to attend a race, unfortunately. This first year we have to prove ourselves and make them known that stock cars are the class too tough to tame like everybody claims they are, and then they're going to put on a good show. So unfortunately it's going to be an invite-only show, something that we can offer to our members. Unfortunately we don't even know the exact number of cars. We're looking at 24 to 30 cars, enough for some good heat races, maybe a B feature, and obviously a really good feature. So
are you going to split it up then? If you say 24 cars, you're going to go 12 East, 12 West, or just top 24, or what are you going to do?
So at this point, not knowing the exact number, I would love to have a way to get maybe I'm not saying a mulligan, but somebody that's maybe a well-known stock car guy that didn't make all of our shows or something like that. They can bring a lot of fans in. We want to put on the best show we can, and so sometimes it's going to take a little bit to make that happen. So it may be the top 10, which leaves us 4 or 5 cars that we can bring in.
Provisional.
Correct. Yeah, and that's one thing that we're going to bring in this year with the stock car guys. We're going to bring in provisionals. We're going to again, we're going to be different. We're going to do a provisional per division if we have an East-West show. We're going to do 2 provisionals if it's just an East or West show, but we're going to do a points provisional, and then we're going to do a members draw provisional. So let's say that Damon Murdy is over here and didn't make it in. He had some trouble at the Tanner Pelster race this last summer. Doesn't make it in, he could use a provisional because of high points. But it may be a guy that, Nick Brugman, he made every single race last year as far as attending it. Was 1 or 2 spots out. It may be something where Nick's the top 12 in points and he can get in a race. But it's just going to be a random draw out of the members. It's going to be our second provisional. So giving guys an opportunity to get in the show and get some more laps.
You want to talk about excitement and all eyes on you guys. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on those 24 to 30 cars that are out there because they go out there and put up a stinker. It's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
They go out there and put on a great show. Yeah. It might happen again. I think it's an uphill battle because I like Knoxville Raceway, but I also get frustrated with them because the most they branch out is the late model nationals.
Right, yeah.
Otherwise, it's all sprint cars all the time. And it's unfortunate because that track can put on great racing for multiple classes, but they only allow the sprint cars and late models really to do it. I think there might be an enduro race there.
Well, as far as local stuff, I mean, they brought the NASCAR trucks in. They brought Tony Stewart's All-Star Tour in a couple of years.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Jeff.
Oh, no, I'm talking about, what was the thing?
SRX. SRX.
Yeah, they did that 2 years, which is now off the schedule as far as it looks this year anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so obviously with our past with the open wheel modifieds and stuff like that, our original goal was we wanted to just come in and have a modified and sport mod and hobby stocks and stock cars and just have a dirt crown night at Knoxville, and it just didn't work out this year, and no fault to anybody. It's just one of those things where we have to we got to hit a single before we can hit a double, and we got to hit a double before we can hit a triple, and before we get home runs, we have to get on base first. So getting in there is a huge thing, and I can't thank everybody who's been behind us and supported us to get to that point. So it's exciting. 24 will definitely be an exciting year for us.
Dirt Crown on Facebook is the best way to find the schedules for all the different events. Again, the West kicks off this coming Saturday at Beatrice Speedway. The East kicks off. It's a dual race.
It's a dual race, yeah. So Damon Murdy, Dustin Viz, probably Dallin Murdy, Chance Hall. It's some names you probably don't typically see at Beatrice Speedway for the Spring Nationals.
Well, it's going to be a who's who.
Yes, yeah. Stock cars will be pretty fun to watch on Saturday night at the Beatrice Speedway, and I'm sure a lot of those guys will roll into town on Friday to get a few extra laps.
Just because I love to poke the bear, last question I've got for the touring series is, have you or would you ever consider creating a charter system for your drivers?
Boy.
He obviously hasn't thought of it.
He's trying to figure out if he can answer it.
There's a lot of things that we've thought about. I can't say 100% that we wouldn't do that. There's some things that we've tried to do and we want to do that may resemble that a lot. So, yeah.
I always say it's one of the things, people they hate the charter system, they hate the idea, but the purpose of it is to guarantee fans that drivers will be at the race. Because it's the drivers that sell the tickets.
So let's just spill the beans a little bit. One of the things that we're working on is our points fund may not be $35,000 this year. It may be a little less, but at the same point, guys that are running the series may actually get some show-up money when they pull in the gate to get them up and down the road. Sniper Speed has jumped on board this year. Jeffrey Abbey and CRS Suspension for a long haul award, so they're going to throw in some money for some fuel and stuff like that. So we're going to have a couple different things that our drivers haven't seen before, but like we mentioned, there's some talk of getting guys up and down the road a little bit more.
Well, that's not necessarily a charter system, but that's like a winner circle type deal. Top 10 in points type
No,
thing.
I mean it's literally the guys that are up and down the road. We had last year, I think we had what was it? 18 guys that made every show. And,
wow.
And I'm not saying they made the feature every show. They showed up at every show. So that's something that's pretty cool, and we want to reward those guys.
But they still had to be, they were probably up there, and most of them were probably fairly decent in the points, too.
Yeah, so like we mentioned Nick Bergman. Never made a feature last year, but we ran our B feature points. Nick ended up with a $400 check for his points, but then in the B feature also ended up with another $1,000. So he had $1,400 and never made a feature last year in 9 nights. So he did really well with the payout that we were offering those guys.
Yeah. All right, let's talk Dawson County Raceway. What the heck? I'm so glad that you jumped in and are helping out.
So happy you had a moment of weakness.
Who talked you into this?
I don't know that anybody really talked us into it as much as it was the next thing that we needed to do. Is we bank on promoters a lot to do what we do, and to see a racetrack sit empty kind of tells us that maybe we need to step up our game and be a promoter at a weekly racetrack. So the opportunity was brought to us by several individuals that we respect gratefully, and so with their help and guidance, we went ahead and agreed to go after Dawson County and provide racing out west. I mean, there's a lot of good guys out there. A lot of great racing happens out there. So it's something that we won't see the weekly racing, but at the same point, it may be what's best for racers and fans out there. Have 5 nights and bring back a bunch of legends on one of the nights right before Memorial Day, and some sprint cars and late models, and just give the fans a variety of racing, but also really good racing out there as well.
Well, at least you're going to keep the track there functioning. It's in front of everybody.
Correct.
So if it's a year or two down the road, maybe it's back to a weekly deal.
Correct. Yeah, and racing in general is in a weird moment. Like we talked about, all the kids going to sports and that stuff. It's hard for parents and really anybody that's involved in racing to not have something else going on. and their sponsors are looking for different ways to advertise, and so not only some of their support losing, I mean, it's just racing's in a weird moment right now, and we need to do whatever we can to band together to keep it around.
The whole country's in a weird moment right now.
Yeah, we don't need to get that far into politics.
Let's just focus on dirt racing for a while. All right, so the Stock Car Crown Summer Series kicks off again this weekend at Beatrice Speedway. The Sport Mod Touring Series.
Not till April.
Not till April, thank you.
Yeah, April 13th, and that's going to be a little bit different. Norfolk or Off-Road Speedway will be on the North division of our Sport Mods deal. So they're on the West and kind of fit in with Beatrice and all those places. But making sense in the lay of the land for the Sport Mods, they go north. So hopefully pull some of the Sioux City guys down, the Western Iowa guys. We'll bring those guys over here. So Sport Mods will kick off April 13th, along with stock cars there. So it'll be a good show at the Off-Road Speedway.
Well, that is probably the southernmost track on the north side. Well,
yeah.
Stewart, Iowa is probably south of that, but not much.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, we're looking at you guys' maps here, and to lay them all out, it's kind of an interesting deal. And we had a hard time with Off-Road Speedway, and do we put them on the east or the west when it comes to the lay of the land with the stock cars now? And it's like, in all reality, they probably fit with Albion, some of those racetracks that are right down the road for them. So, yeah, it's crazy. It'll be fun, but it'll be good.
Scott Angell of a lot of things. Stock Car Crown Summer Series, the Dirt Crown, Dawson County Raceway, D-Sign Shop, Speedway Motors, a baseball diamond coming near you.
And he didn't even wear a hat today because he didn't know which one to wear.
He's still got beautiful hair.
So he's set up like a billboard. Yeah, wearing everything.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got some new hoodies, new t-shirts being printed out. Can't thank Dirt Shirts USA enough for those. So that's something that's pretty cool. Check those guys out. Our new hoodies are really cool.
Wait, Dirt Shirts USA?
Yeah.
I thought he was going away.
Joey's helping us out here.
Okay, well, great.
Our new shirts will be hopefully here for Beatrice, and hoodies have been here since January, so if you have pictures up, I actually shipped mine to Florida already because, let's see here, what race am I not going to miss? I actually don't think I'm missing a race this year. End of March, I'll take a week and go to Florida for a little bit and enjoy some sun. So then we'll get back and get serious about racing and baseball and all that fun stuff again.
Scott Angell, thank you, sir. Greatly appreciate the time.
Thank you, guys. Can't ever thank what you guys do enough for the front stretch here. So thank you, guys, and hopefully everybody enjoys the show.
We'll see you Saturday at Beatrice, hopefully.
Saturday we will be there.
And we're here in the middle of the season if you need us for anything.
Absolutely.